This lesson covers one of many ways to ask questions in Latin. You've already been introduced to the enclitic ne. Right? You add this to the first word of a sentence, and it's going to ask a yes/no question. The interrogatives we're going to look at today are going to ask questions like who, whose, whom, and what. Right? And then we'll have other questions you can ask like why, or where, or when. We'll save these for another time. So the first way we can ask a question is by using an interrogative pronoun. And here we're going to have to use all of the cases. We need nominatives, genitives, datives, so we need who, we need whose, we need to whom, and so on. And what we're going to find is that the interrogatives have one form in the singular for masculine and feminine, and another form for the neuter. And these have to be memorized, but these are very close to the relative pronouns. So the nominative, so in the singular, quis quid, quius quius, qui, quem quid, quo. So you'll notice with the absence of the feminine, this neuter is slightly different from our relative. It's going to be masculine was qui, it's quis here, but otherwise these are identical forms, with quid being in both the nominative and the accusative. And then in the plural, down below, these are identical forms exactly to the relative pronouns. So again, we're going to use them just like any other pronoun, but it's going to introduce a question. So quis venit, quis is nominative, singular, so who is coming? Cuius equum vides, here it's genitive, it's going to show us possession. It's whose horse do you see? Cuius equum vides. Or here cui is dative, so it's likely going to be an indirect object. Cui dona dedisti, our verb is you gave gifts. To whom? Quem vides, here it's accusative, it's going to be the direct object of our verb. Whom do you see? So those are the interrogative pronouns. They're used very similarly to the way we use who, whose, and whom in English. And then Latin also is going to have interrogative adjectives. And these are going to be which, and they're going to modify a noun. So which man, which woman, and so on. And you'll notice, if you look very carefully, or even not so carefully, that these forms, the interrogative adjectives, are identical to relative pronouns. So if you've memorized your relative pronouns, like you should have, the interrogative adjectives will be no problem. So let's look at them in use. So qui vir vides, which man do you see? Qui modifying vir in gender, number, and case. Which man do you see? Quam feminam amas, which woman do you love? In qua urbe habitas, qua modifying urbe, it's feminine singular ablative. In what town do you live? So the interrogative adjectives modify nouns just as they do in any other adjective, in gender, number, and case, and they're going to ask the one, which one? So, which man, which woman, which city?